Hello WordPress nerds. So we are building a headless WordPress web app using Next.js. So in the previous video we talked about fetching the WordPress post via API, and we display list of posts using Next.js. And in this video we will be creating a blog page where we will display title and description of each blogs. So yeah, first let's start the server in pm run dev. If you are new to this video, I would suggest you start watching this playlist, building headless WordPress web app. Otherwise, if you know what you are doing, just keep watching this video. So our server has been started, and let's open the page. And here we created this blog page in the previous video where we are displaying list of blogs from our WordPress site. So let me open the WordPress site as well for the reference. So these are the posts we are displaying over here, and we are calling it blogs. So first of all, now let's add link for this blogs. So we will open this blogs.js inside the pages folder, and yeah, let me get rid of this, and here I will use link component. And the link we already imported, so and now set href, and we will be calling it blog, and then post dot slug. So let's see how the URL created. So let's try to click on this. So as you can see, our URL is like blog and then slug of the post. Currently it is displaying 404. So that is what we are going to make. So each and every page, when we click on this, it will display the title of that blog and description. So let's start building dynamic pages. So first of all, let's create a folder called blog, because yeah, we want to have the URL like blog /slug. So for that we will create a new folder called blog inside pages, and we will be adding a file called slug.js. Now pay attention to the name of this file, which is slug in the rectangle bracket .js. So this means slug is going to be dynamic. Like for example, this CSS in block is the slug for this, and for this it will be a different blog. Different slug. So that is what we are going to build now. So whenever we want to make anything dynamic, we have to give the name like this. So we will be building a dynamic page based on slug. That's why I added the name like this, slug.js. If you want to make a dynamic page based on IDs, so you can add id.js. Okay, and then let's add this code inside slug.js. This is too simple printing the text. Let's see what happens. So as you can see, it has started displaying text over here. So it will display test for everything. Okay, so that's that. Now let's make function which fetch result by slug. So we want to use a WordPress REST API which fetch result based on slug. So we can use this API post and then slug equal to this. So it will fetch the only post which is slug is this, and slug will always unique for all the post. So we can do this. So add this function inside lib wordpress.js. So this is our WordPress function which will fetch the result based on the slug. If you remember in our previous video, we fetch all the post using this API. Now similar thing we are doing, but in this case we will be fetching post based on the slug only. And here pay attention to how we are returning the data. So in previous we just return whatever we found over here, but in this, as this is the dynamic slug and dynamic page, so whatever the file name you gave, return that slug, return the keyword, and return like this. So this is when you have a dynamic data. So nothing changes, just changing, only thing changes is the API and format of returning. So let's call, so we call this function get block data, and we will be passing the slug. Okay, so that's that. Then okay, now we will need list of slug for the dynamic routing. So this is needed when we have a dynamic routing. So this is called dynamic routing because each page slug is dynamic. So when we do a dynamic routing, we have to have a list of parameter by which we want to make our page dynamic. So in this case, we want to make page dynamic based on the slug, and the return format should be like this. It should be array of object, and object should have this params, and here we added slug because our file name is slug. If your file name is id, then you can have id over here, and then here you will have all pages slug over here. So here we have list of this number of blogs, so we just need this number of page slug over here. So this function we are calling get all blog slugs, and here we are using this function get blogs, which we created in our previous video, which brings all the posts use with this data id, title and slug. So we will have slug in this response, and we map this through and return like this params slug and our post dot slug, because it will be an object. So let me show you how. So yeah, here we are getting the data from this API, and we are passing this params slug like this, and our slug we will have in post dot slug. So it's post dot slug. So that is why we are passing slug over here. And yeah, again, make sure your this parameter should be similar to this file name. So that's that. This is done. Now in the slug.js, let's add this code first. So what this code does, so here we are just displaying the static data test. Now this function static path will set path for this page, and it will fetch the dynamic data based on this path. I said path over here, but it is actually a slug because we are using this function. So yeah, just keep this as path, and again just pay attention what we are returning. So we are returning paths, and this is fallback false. Currently I don't know what this does, but yeah, as of now just keep this as a false. Our main focus is path. So we will have all the slugs of blogs in this, and we are returning in this static paths. So this all the paths will become dynamic using this function. Okay. And now it's time to fetch result by slug. So what we are going to do is, and this static props we already saw in our previous video. So this static props is used to fetch data and pass it to our component. So here this fetches list of slug of the post. So it is using this get all block slugs, this function from this file wordpress.js, and this static props is using get block data, which we again created over here, and it will fetch the data by slug. So here we are getting params. I mean the params is nothing but this result we are having. So in the params we have slug in this slug parameter, so that's why we are passing dot slug over here. Now in this function get block data, so in this function we are passing slug in this API, and it will fetch the data based on the result. Okay, again get back to this. Now here we are using this function from wordpress.js. So we have to import these functions first, So let's import these two functions from lib and WordPress. Okay, and now we can pass this post data over here, and let's do console.log first, and let's see what happens. Okay, now let's click on this link first, CSS in block. Okay, so let's see if we get any error or not. So we are not getting any error. Let's see what we get inside this post data. So in the post data we are getting this and at the 0th position. Yes, because we are getting the result in the array format. So in the first position it will have our result. So what we are going to do is I'm gonna assign this variable like this. So everything we will have in the post, and let's make h1 post dot title dot rendered. Our title is inside over here, and now let's do content here. So let's bring content, which is inside content rendered. Okay, now let's see what happens. So as you can see, our title and content is here. Let's check for other post. So there is no content for this post. Okay, now as you can see, it is displaying us an HTML, it is not rendering the HTML. So by default in the Next.js, if we do this, it will straight print whatever we have inside this. And if we want to render HTML, then we have to use this method called dangerously set inner HTML. So I'm gonna copy this div. Okay, let's comment this. So as you can see, it is just one tag with closing, and it has this attribute dangerously set inner HTML, and here we have to use this. Now it will render HTML. As you can see, it is rendering our HTML. Let's get back, let's click here, and now it is displaying the image because we added image for this. Let's click on Mahabharata. So as you can see, this is title, this is description, and what this error. Let's clear this. Let's see if the error is still coming or not. blogs. Okay, so no error is not coming. So yeah, this is how we can make dynamic pages for our headless WordPress web app. And yeah, this is the video, guys. In the next video we will be focusing on the styling part. And yeah, if you have any doubt, question, or any suggestion, please write down below in the comment section, and I will provide this code on GitHub, and it will be in the description section. So thanks for watching the video, guys. See you in the next video.